the next mayor that comes in needs to embrace that problem, right? And really, really not be distracted. Like I tell my kids, lead, but don't be distracted from it. Absolutely, don't allow anything to distract you from zealously and intentionally repairing ground, right? And bringing trust levels up to where they should be. My family, whenever I hear my kids, aspiring towards mediocrity, we shut them. They're very quickly like, no. We don't do small things, right? We work towards changing the world for better by doing important things, and that's what leadership with capital L means, right? 1 in 3 women in San Antonio have a domestic violence story to tell, or will have a domestic violence.
Absolutely.
That's obscenely high. Yeah. It's really a very serious problem. My goal is to get men involved in solving this.
Blu Wolf Podcast.
This episode of the Blu Wolf Podcast is brought to you by Blue Line Professional Inspections. Check out blproinspections.com or call 210-771-8831 for all your inspection needs, including home inspection, wood-destroying insect inspection, sewer drain inspection, and on-site water treatment inspection. Blue Line is a first responder-owned business.
So let me tell you the goal here, right? When I'm mayor, my goal is to start a conversation with this community about what we need to do to become the safest city in America, right? I believe in the power of incremental change, right? And continuous improvement. That's great. But if you're not continuously improving towards a goal, then all you're doing is just waking up and every day and just doing something. But you're not working towards a stated goal, then you're not going anywhere, right?
And regardless if you have time left in your tenure.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
That you left it better than when you showed up.
Correct. So
correct.
Everybody's goal should be that this be the safest city in the United States. If you're running for mayor and your goal is that we not be safer than any other city, then you shouldn't be in that job, right? Number 2, because it's personal for me, because of my life's work and my mom's life's work, I think that San Antonio should also be the city that gets as close as possible to eradicating domestic violence as quickly as possible. 1 in 3 women in San Antonio have a domestic violence story to tell, or will have a domestic violence
Absolutely.
story to tell. That's obscenely high. Yeah. It's really a very serious problem. My goal is to get men involved in solving this. So whenever I go to these domestic violence conferences and all that, sometimes I'm the only guy.
How much pushback would you get? What you just said, and I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
because everybody's in it together. It's just the men have to understand that side too. But you know how we're in this empowering women era.
Sure.
Never. How much pushback do you think you would get?
I thought I would.
At this point.
I thought I would, but this is conversations I've been having with men, and that is, hey man, those women in those shelters, that's someone's daughter, right? Yeah. There's a dad who's crying himself to sleep because his daughter is in that shelter, right? That's someone's, there's a brother out there who wishes he could go murder somebody because, because his sister, is in the hospital with broken orbital,
Yes.
And so, I have found that there are a ton of men out there who are really invested in making sure that this doesn't happen to their daughter or their sisters, right? And so, there are some men out there that are, still living in 50 years ago.
Yeah, the old machismo.
And to be honest with you,
those are lofty goals. Nice.
Yeah.
Family violence, dating violence has been at the forefront for City of San Antonio for a long time. They've added additional sheets for officers to fill out and data.
Right.
I'm not minimizing it. I'm just saying the goals that you've done 2 out of 3. And those goals are
so.
It's a personal goal for you because your mom's involved.
Right.
So you don't want to put your mom in business.
Right.
My point was.
Well, actually, you do. Right. You want to where your mom doesn't need to have a facility like that one day because there's no women that are getting.
So I want my mom. She'll tell you that her goal is to work herself out of a town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We want to make sure that there's no more need for a battered women's shelter.
So I have 2 daughters, 3 granddaughters. Of course, I'm on the side of that.
So And I believe in, I'm a true believer. This is what I tell my kids. If you're going to set a goal, right, your goal better be a home run, right? I don't want you to be like, hey, I'm just going to be mediocre, right? My goal is mediocrity or good enough.
I'm here to
In my
walk.
family,
I'm here to walk.
Yeah.
We talk about baseball,
Yeah.
Hey, we
My-
Tony Gwynn hit 395.
right.
in my family, whenever I hear my kids, aspiring towards mediocrity, we shut that down. They're very quickly. They're like, no. We don't do small things, right? We work towards changing the world for better by doing important things, and that's what leadership with capital L means, right? Now, you're absolutely right. We may never attain, right? We may actually, at the end of my tenure, right, as mayor, we may not be the safest city in the United States. Damn it, we're going to try as hard as we possibly can to get
Both
there.
from El Paso.
Yeah.
And I have to say that because we fly that flag. I fly that flag proudly. Believe it or not, I ran, but it's where I came from, and I'm always very proud to be in El Paso. El Paso's the only city in the top 20. It's at number 15
Yeah.
of the safest cities in the United
El
States.
Paso is one of the safest cities in the entire United
The
States.
only one in Texas in the top 20. So I was like, but my point is why we asked you here today, and obviously to talk about what it would take to get there. I'm going to let you get to the third one, but at some point, policing is going to have to be a part of that first goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then number 3, right, is that in order to accomplish goal number 1, which is safest city in the United States, goal number 2, right, get as close as possible to eradicating domestic violence in this community, you need to have a police force, right, that can carry out that goal. Because goals by themselves, without resources and tools, right, or strategy, is nothing, right? And so,
That has been deteriorating
yeah.
significantly on the SAPD.
So my layman's perspective, right, and I'm 30,000 feet up here in the air, even I, all the way up from here, should pick up on the degradation and the deterioration of know-how, right, on the ground at SAPD, right? The chipping away of trust, right, that officers have with their higher-ups, but more importantly, with the ultimate higher-ups, with the city manager's office, with the deputy city manager, with the chief, and with City Hall, right? The next mayor that comes in needs to embrace that problem, right? And really, really not be distracted. Like I tell my kids, lead, but don't be distracted from it. Absolutely, don't allow anything to distract you from zealously and intentionally repairing ground, right? And bringing trust levels up to where they should be.
We can do a whole podcast on just that.
So we came on the police department in 1980, right? That's some of the viewers were born there, right? At that time, even people on the police department. Man, I can tell you. And again, we asked him, like, do we call you councilman or do we call you?
No, just call me Manny. I was telling these guys that
So I just don't want anyone to think we're being disrespectful.
the only people I make call me councilman is my children. So
the first 5 years from 89 to around 95, maybe a little longer, but not much longer. You could go to the grocery store, to the mall, you could see people out running. We were wearing SAPD shirts. We were proud to be SAPD officers.
Yeah.
The community were proud to have us as SAPD officers. I never felt like somebody, we all did dangerous work, right? I mean, Wood could attest to that. But, I was never worried about anything. Later, we started working narcotics and gangs, and we stopped doing that, right? But when we were working in SOU and working patrols, we were proud to fly the SAPD flag. You don't see that anymore. To me, that's a culture issue. That's a huge problem with the culture. And I think it's just been exasperated in the last, I won't say since 2006 when the current chief got here, because we're not going to just make this about him, but definitely since he came back.
yeah, I've heard that.
And since he came back, the culture has been just degraded to the point where it's almost suffocating the men and women that do the job.
So in order to achieve goal number 3, right, which is to make sure that San Antonio has the best police force in the nation, right? In order for that to happen, the policemen and women need to feel proud of the organization which they serve, right? Additionally, this only happens if the people around them who are not police officers feel proud of them, right? Who wants to tell their children today, hey, you know what, I got a great idea. I dream of you having this great career in policing. That happens very, very rarely these days. Nobody was raising their kids and saying, I want you to go into police. That used to happen, right? People were like, that's an honorable career. You will have, great benefits. You'll be surrounded by other people who are doing the right thing, but also you will have the admiration of
And it's a noble
community.
to serve.
It's noble and it's not a job, it's a profession.